gorgeous day, and we're very lucky, and thank you all for being here. I'm just thrilled at this crowd. You guys look amazing from up here. We're going to begin our main program in just a few minutes. I have a couple of announcements. First of all, thrilled, as I said, that you're all here. We have great turnout, which also means large numbers of people. So reminder, this is a peaceful, nonpartisan march. We need to look out for each other, be respectful of each other, which I know you all will, and make sure that this is a safe event for everybody. I did, I told them already, thanks. Dom, I'm Kristen Rattan. Nice to meet you. So also, if you could lower your signs during the rally, this is something advice we got from the Women's March, that it helps people in the back see, and then you can raise them up when it's time to march. There's a screen up here that's going to be showing really interesting things, so do your best to keep an eye on that at various points. And bathrooms are to my left, behind that screen. And when we're ready to launch the march, it'll be going down Market Street. I'd like to thank our funder, the Hewlett Foundation, and also all of our sponsors. Hewlett, woo! Really came through for us. And all of our sponsors, Audubon California, Mount Diablo Audubon, the 49ers Museum, Cool Effect, the Public Library of Science, yay! Next Gen Climate, and Verily. Also our fiscal sponsor, Sigma Psi. We've really had amazing support from the community, a lot of endorsements, and a lot of amazing community partners who are going to have booths and activities at Civic Center Plaza when we land there at the end of the march. I also want to thank our partner, Earth Day San Francisco. Earth Day San Francisco is sharing its day with us, which is pretty amazing, and it really helped to produce the science fair and festival at Civic Center Plaza. And also Hope and Beyond Projects, Earth Day Every Day, Health Awareness Campaign, KnowWhat'sInIt.org, and they help make this plaza available, so yay to them. And I want to thank our volunteer steering committee and all of our volunteers. So big round of applause. All these people you're seeing in orange shirts and various different colored shirts have really made this day possible. This was an all-volunteer event, so fantastic. Okay, we have a few special guests who want to just say a few words about why they are marching. So we're going to bring them up on stage. We have three elected officials: Congressman Jerry McNerney, Oakland Councilman Dan Kalb, and San Francisco Supervisor Jeff Sheehy. Okay, we'll start with the Congressman. You can just say a few words about why you're marching.
Good morning, San Francisco scientists and all out there who love science. We want to welcome everyone. Please raise your hands if you're a healthcare scientist or a biological scientist. Shout out. Raise your hand and shout out if you're a physical scientist. If you're an engineer. If you're a technician. And last but not least, if you're a mathematician like I am. All right. A large but not infinite number of scientists from around the world are rallying today to show our support for science and to show our love for science. And people in this great country are taking notice. Now, there's only 2 PhD scientists in the House of Representatives, and there's never been a scientist in the United States Senate. And what's happening? Science funding is being cut. We aren't being represented in Washington. We can't let this happen, and we're willing to fight for it. I'll tell you what, with all you here today, I'm feeling the energy, I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling the love. Together we can make a difference. Now, history tells the story of an American scientific achievements. We're always searching for a better tomorrow. This is our DNA as Americans, investing in science, investing in our future. Supporting science and tech advancement is essential to our democracy. We produce some of the biggest and best scientific advancements in history. And our commitment to science shows our commitment to truth. And that's why we're here today, to show support for truth and facts, to demonstrate our commitment to science and progress. I'm proud to be marching with you today, and I ask you, I beg you, don't let this feeling die after today. Continue to make your voices heard. Run for office. Get involved. You have the power.
Oakland Council Member Dan Powell.
All right, how's everybody doing? It's great to see a huge crowd. What's sad is that we really have to do this. In this day and age, we have to march for science, but we do. That's the world we live in today, that's the country we live in today, and that's why we're all here today. Now, I used to work, before I was elected to office, I used to work for the Union of Concerned Scientists. All right, yes. And I learned very clearly throughout my career that science actually can impact public policy. For example, we were able to use scientific research to stop coal in Oakland. And we have to do that up and down the West Coast and throughout our country, right? Coal has no value, and it hurts our climate, it hurts our communities, it has no value to anybody. Second, another example of where scientific research has helped us. Vaccines to save lives. I don't even want to get into the whole controversy about vaccines, but vaccines over the decades have saved lives because of scientific research and the policies that stem from that research. Right? Renewable energy. We have strong renewable energy, clean energy standards and requirements in California and other states because the scientific research helped move the technology forward to make that possible. Science, let's hear it for clean energy and solar energy. Scientific research and policy making cannot be separated. They need to work together as they have been, even more so. We have to up that game and make sure that science, we have to demand that our policymakers do not ignore or distort science and scientific research when making public policy. That's why we're here today. That's why I'm marching today. I'm with you all. Thank you so much for being here. And don't stop today. This is just the beginning. Woo!
San Francisco Supervisor Jeff Shee.
Thank you. First, I want to present Kristen. Thank you for organizing this with a certificate of honor for the San Francisco March for Scientists for bringing San Francisco and Bay Area citizens together in support of science. And I just want to say one thing. Isn't it great that this is being led by a woman? A lot of women.
On behalf of all of
Well, why am I marching? Well, I turned 60 yesterday. Well, let me finish. I've been living with HIV for at least 20 years. I'd be dead without science. I'd be dead. And frankly, a lot of my friends are dead. A lot of my friends have been fighting, along with myself, on behalf of science for decades. You know, I got appointed to the board of the California Institute of Regenerative Medicine. Any stem cell scientists out here? Come on, regenerative medicine, yes? We've been in the battle. We've been in the middle of it for a couple decades. I was deposed by a lawyer from the religious right, and he pulled out my CV and he saw LGBT civil rights. Remember when we were classified as being abnormal and not, you know, science battle there. AIDS activist, ACT UP member, and then stem cell board member, and he was like, the trifecta. And I had to explain to him that yes, I had been back in the back of a squad car and a paddy wagon. And so, like I said, I've been fighting this for a long time, and this fight is so essential. And science should not and cannot be silent in the face of the immense challenges and opportunities we face. Climate change threatens our very existence. Life science, which I know well, is on the verge of therapies that will cure many diseases, including many forms of cancer. right? Are you guys following this? Regenerative medicine is transforming the field of medicine, precision medicine. Resisting the war on science is essential for the survival of our democracy. The scientific method, using evidence, facts derived through experiments, the robust analysis of that evidence via peer review, are all vital to sound policy making. Otherwise, we have conjecture, really just haphazard guesses that may or may not hit their mark. By standing together, by marching together, we're taking science out of the labs and into the public realm. We're fighting against gag orders. We're standing up for diversity and inclusion in science. We're demanding continued funding to further our knowledge of our planet, our universe, and develop therapies that will save countless lives. So, to kind of end my remarks, we used to have a little chat we did in ACT UP, and it used to go, gays and lesbians under attack, ACT UP, fight back. So, if you guys would join me on the second part of that, can we all say, ACT UP, fight back?
ACT UP,
fight back! Facts and evidence under attack. ACT UP, fight back! Our planet under attack.
ACT UP, fight back!
Public health under attack.
ACT UP, fight back!
Our children and grandchildren's futures under attack.
ACT UP, fight back!
Resist.
Thank you, all three of you. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Excellent. Oh, he's tall. Okay, let's get the program started. We have an amazing lineup of speakers. We are very fortunate to have Kishore Hari as our Master of Ceremonies. Kishore, woo! Yay, love him. Director of Bay Area Science Festival and one of the leaders of the entire March for Science at a national level. Welcome, Kishore. Science is real.
I'm speechless for a second. I'm one of the leaders of the entire March for Science, and it is my privilege to have organized any iota of this. Starting last night at 3 o'clock, New Zealand led off a set of 600 marches. Around the globe, on every continent, at the North Pole, in Antarctica, but we saved the best for last. Right, San Francisco?
What about Hawaii?
One piece of data. This is the largest science event in the history of humankind. We are all part of something incredibly large. And I want to just thank you all for being part of that. Over the next hour, you're going to hear an amazing set of speakers, educators, scientists, advocates, ones that are shaping our future and want you to join them. Following that, we're going to start marching and let the entire San Francisco Bay Area know that we value science.
The entirety of Northern California.
We're going to take this straight to City Hall, go down to Civic Center where there'll be hands-on activities, more talks, more panels, more science. This event is fundamentally about all of you as individuals, proclaiming that we place a value on evidence, facts, education, and science. As you go forth today, share that loudly with your friends, family, and especially those elected officials. I haven't always felt a sense of belonging, but these are my people right here. These are your people. Are you ready for your first speaker? We had hundreds of thousands of people reach out, scientists, teachers, factory workers, advocates for science from all walks of life. But one person expanded our view of what advocate for science really means. Meet Eric Bellor. He is a person with ALS and a citizen scientist. Due to complications from ALS, Eric only has the movement of his eyes and cannot be here today. But using advanced eye technology, he recorded us a special message,
She's right behind the guy.
and science enabled us to hear his voice. Please turn and watch the video screen for Eric's message.
Hello, March for Science, San Francisco. My name is Eric Volor and I am the embodiment of the March for Science. I am a self-taught information technology professional with a very successful career. I taught myself information technology by following core scientific principles. I would have something I wanted to do or a problem to fix, would look up possible solutions, devise a plan, and execute that plan. Sometimes it didn't work, but with good planning and careful thought, most often it did. I could then refine that solution either in situ or for future similar situations. I was forced to retire in early 2008 due to complications from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. After my retirement, I decided to use the same method to teach myself neurology so I could begin firing my own real bullets in the war against ALS. About 5 years later, I created my own research organization dedicated to finding an effective treatment to stop the progression of the disease. We have a treatment in development right now with what appears to have a real probability of success. I owe much of my knowledge to the open sharing of information called open science. There are many books widely available in multiple formats dealing with particular subjects of information technology. As the internet grew, people were increasingly able to share knowledge and solutions to problems. I, myself, participated in this volunteer work to expand the knowledge of others around the world. So I was uniquely prepared to do what I am doing today, learning about neurology and sharing that knowledge in clear language with my fellow patients who may not be technically or scientifically inclined. They can then make more informed decisions about their treatment options. It also increases their demand for scientific advance. They know that wishful thinking and miracles are not going to help them. Only science can do that. And some have even taken on the challenge of using science to try to find some kind of treatment which can help themselves and others. This resurgence of public participation in science mimics the scientific explosion which shaped the past few centuries. Scientists, then, were not people in professional laboratories. They were average citizens who took an interest in the world around us and in finding out something new about it. This citizen science has been somewhat forgotten in the past decades as people decided that the mysterious they would find solutions to issues and create new technologies. What we forgot is that they is actually us. Public participation in science brought us everything from the automobile to the light bulb. The personal computer, perhaps the most influential device in human history, was created in a garage in a suburb. So today, as we march for science, we rededicate ourselves to the scientific advancements of human knowledge, ability, and culture. We must not only rededicate this to ourselves, but evangelize this dedication to others by freely sharing our knowledge with everyone and encouraging each other to do the same. This sharing and encouragement is what drives progress. And we are the disciples tasked with spreading the word and keeping that spirit vibrant. I am very pleased to be among you and thank you for your inquisitive intellect, your creativity, and your time today. Let us march forward for science.
Even though he can't be here, you heard why Eric is marching for science, and that's what this whole March for Science is about. But I want to know why you're all here. Show me those signs. Put them up. Look at this. Every single message here is a message of us expressing ourselves in the most American way possible. We assemble, we speak, we are heard. Thank you all for bringing these signs today. All right, I gotta be honest. When I was a kid, I actually didn't want to be a scientist when I grew up, even though I was a science nerd. I wanted to work at the White House. Slight problem, no one that had ever worked at the White House ever looked like me. That's true until a couple years ago, when we got our first chief data scientist under President Obama. And he's here today to talk about how we go forward. Please welcome our first and not our last chief data scientist, DJ Patil.
Good morning, my fellow scientists and science supporters. Now, this is what awesome looks like. If you have that sign, I want to see you raise it high and say science.
Science!
Ooh. That is not how science rolls, and you don't put down that sign. On the count of three, let's hear science. 1, 2, 3.
Science!
That is what I'm talking about. This is what it makes it so good to be back home. Thank you for coming out to be here to support science. Let's just start off by saying it's an interesting time we live in right now. There's this running question of what makes America great. So I want to talk to you today about what does make America great. And spoiler alert, it's science. But I want to do it through a few of the stories of the amazing Americans I've had a chance to work with and meet over the last few years, when I was not only in the President Obama's White House, but when I was also in the Bush administration. And one of the most favorite things over the past 2 years was when we turned the White House into a science fair. We invited kids, absolutely, a science fair where the White House only spent a day talking about science. We invited kids from all around the country to show off their research. And wow, these projects that they did are the epitome of what makes America great. Take, for example, Nathan. Nathan, who is 15 at the time and built machine learning and AI algorithms to detect genetic mutations that are likely to cause cancer. Simon, Peter, Maya, Grayson, who in their early teens designed a new prosthetic leg that will allow an amputee to hike, manage uneven terrain, or my favorite part, ride a skateboard. Olivia, at 17, developed a rapid, portable, inexpensive diagnostic test for detecting the Ebola virus. These kids are from every walk of life, from every part of America. Spend 5 minutes with them and you'll leave the conversation with an incredible inferiority complex. It's not just those kids. Look around you right now. Look at all the boys and all the girls. You are our future scientists. You are the ones who will lead us to the stars. You are the ones who will understand the deep mysteries of physics, unlock the beauty of math, and discover the next medical breakthrough or invent the next type of new material. My friend, the former Secretary of Defense, Ash Carter, often reminds us security is like air. You know you only need it when you don't have it. The same is true about science. The basis of our country's national and economic security is science and technology. It has been true from the founding of this nation. This is the nation where both the Continental Congress and our first president, George Washington, created the Army Corps of Engineers. Their mission to provide vital public engineering services in peace and war to strengthen our nation's security, energize the economy, and reduce risk from disasters. This is the nation that enacted the National Aeronautics and Space Act, establishing NASA, creating a path forward to win the space race to the moon, and today continues to lead our efforts to understand the Earth and the universe above. This is the nation that established the National Institutes for Health, the NIH, to drive the next set of breakthroughs and making sure that we have the best medical care in the world that everyone needs to have access to. This is the nation that led the way in protecting our water and making sure we have clean air by establishing the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, who members you're going to hear from in just a minute, where more than half of the EPA's employees are engineers, scientists, and environmental protection specialists. This is the nation that establishes colleges and universities that are the envy of the world. This is the nation that created the internet. But let's be clear, government didn't do this alone. It sparked the fire, but industry, academia, public-private partnerships nurtured the flames. Examples: GPS, the discovery of DNA and genetic sequencing, robotics, even data science. And we're seeing it happen right now, once again, with artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, and autonomous vehicles. But let me tell you this, we can't take this for granted. We'll only know that we've lost the lead when we don't have it. The investments and sacrifices that the generations before us made are the ones we are benefiting from today. That includes those that have come from all around the world as immigrants and refugees to make this nation stronger. In 2016, Nobel Prizes were given to 6 researchers and scientists at American universities. The common thread? All 6 were born outside the United States. To those of you out there who have dedicated your lives to science and innovation, thank you. To those who have served in our armed forces or in public service, you have my eternal gratitude. To those of you that teach, thank you for everything you have done and will continue to do no matter what. You are our secret ingredient. Our superpower has always been and will continue to be nurturing our best and brightest to work on the greatest challenges of the day. Science and engineering can't wait. Slowing down is not an option. Kids in Flint, Michigan still don't have clean water. The climate is changing. The next pandemic could be around the corner. We have a growing world population that needs to be fed and educated, and our national defenses will continue to depend on innovation. And cancer and rare diseases continue to take far too many of the lives. It is one of the reasons that so much of my time at the White House as a data scientist, as a mathematician, was focused on finding the next generation of medical cures through the Precision Medicine Initiative and the Cancer Moonshot. I want to take a quick moment and tell you about one of those most amazing people I met, Jennifer Bittner, who wrote into the President Obama, and yes, we did read the letters. At least back then we read the letters. Can you believe that we have to do this stuff? Here's the thing. Here's the first thing you need to know about Jennifer. She is a beautiful person. She's a wonderful husband, a wonderful wife to her husband, Rod, a phenomenal mother to their son, and a child on the way. She is a force of nature. And here's what Jennifer had to say in her own words. This is Jennifer. I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer that had spread to my liver, lungs, adrenal glands, spleen, ovaries, spine, hips, ribs, femur, scapula, clavicle, and many other bones. One doctor said I'd be in hospice within 3 months. While it's hard to put into words how grateful I am to have had every single moment of this wonderful life the past few years, it's certainly not easy. I've been on chemotherapy or other treatments every single day. I've endured multiple surgeries and radiation, as well as anxiety of weeks of tumor markers and scans every 3 months. My treatment side effects are challenging, at times debilitating. Despite all of this, the average life expectancy for someone with metastatic brain cancer is just 3 short years. 3 short years is far too, she goes along to say, 3 short years is far too short when you're not even halfway through life. Research is absolutely critical to extending and improving the lives of people with cancer, especially now that we're on the precipice of some incredible medical breakthroughs such as immunotherapies. That's why it's so critical that research be fully funded. We are so close, but most of us can't wait much longer. Here's the thing. If we don't go faster, Jennifer doesn't get to see her kids learn how to ride a bike.
The white thing?
Her kids learn how to read.
On the black pole.
Her kids learn how to be in a class play.
Okay.
Her kids will be robbed of a chance to have a mother. Talk to any of the scientists who are out there. All of you scientists are out there. You know as well as I do that Jennifer's right. We can go faster. What's it take? We all know. Funding. Investment in science. Pressure to do the right thing. Talk to any patient, they'll say the same thing as Jennifer, as any scientist. We must go faster. Cancer doesn't wait. Rare diseases don't wait. Pandemics don't wait. Our kids can't wait. Finding cures requires investment. When we are all relentless in our determination to support all the sciences, we will ensure that science is in its rightful place, leading this great nation forward. Forward for a positive future for my children, your children, the world's children, and our children's children. Science can't wait. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Science is like the Baratheons, you know? It's like the Baratheons in Game of Thrones.
I love that they read every letter. It's the reminder that everyone's individual voice matters. It may not feel like that today, but it's true. It is true as long as America is a democracy, and we're going to prove that in a few short minutes as we take our leave and head down to Civic Center. These have not been easy times for science. We've even struggled with the idea of should scientists even march? I think the answer is pretty clear based on what I see out here today.
Yeah! We should march in times like these.
Because first, they denied the scientists, and we didn't march. Then they came with alternative facts, and we did not march. Now they want our EPA. What do you say?
March!
You're damn right.
Yep.
Here to tell the story of what the EPA really means. Welcome Steward of the Engineer and Scientists of California and retired EPA engineer Kathy Sation. And if this isn't the loudest applause today, I'm going to come out there and make you applaud harder. Kathy, come on up.
Thank you, Kishore. As you mentioned, I was a project manager and engineer at EPA for 20 years. But before that, I worked in the tech industry. I left a higher paying corporate job for the higher honor of public service, protecting human health and the environment. I never regretted that decision. But now, everything my colleagues and I have worked for is at risk of being dismantled. That's why I'm marching today. EPA is in the crosshairs because we produce the analyses and solutions to problems that Washington won't even admit to. As federal scientists, we work for the public interest, and here, organized labor has a critical role to play. EPA workers are here today thanks to their unions. Engineers and Scientists of California, NCPU, and AFGE. And you can get a selfie taken with them if you want to afterwards. Today's march brings together two powerful forces: dedicated scientists who investigate the real world and activated citizens who demand application of that science to our most pressing problems. We are all under attack. It starts with the budget. For example, at EPA, the Trump administration wants to cut thousands of jobs and slash funding by almost a third. Is this a good way to save money? EPA's budget is tiny. The average taxpayer pays only $26 a year for EPA, compared to thousands per year on the military. And investments in environmental protection pay huge dividends for our country. Every dollar spent preventing air pollution would save $30 in future health care costs, according to a 2011 study. So how do we protect ourselves? Protection of human health and the environment requires a strong EPA and strong environmental rules. Environmental rules are created, defended, and expanded by demand of a mobilized public. For example, in 1969, a Cleveland river caught fire due to unregulated dumping, and the Charles River in Boston was so polluted that you had to go to a hospital if you fell in. These events gave birth to the Clean Water Act, now on the chopping block. Or in 1978, when residents in Love Canal had to be evacuated, chemicals linked to cancer and birth defects had been buried in leaking containers beneath their homes. This and other outrages led to the Superfund law, which requires polluters to clean up contamination, also on the chopping block. Or in 1984, when Union Carbide released a poisonous gas in Bhopal, India. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed or injured. Worldwide outrage forced our Congress to enact community right to know laws, which made decades of chemical data publicly available. Another law now on the chopping block. But wait, there's more. Pollution does not affect everyone equally. Who's hit the hardest? Children under 5 suffer most of the disease from dirty air. Also hit hard are the poorest people and minorities. And EPA's Office of Environmental Justice targeted for closure. If environmental rules protect health and save money in the long run, why are they being attacked? To understand, we need to enter the realm of smoke and mirrors. It is a myth that environmental rules kill jobs. The facts prove otherwise. Between 1990 and 2012, we greatly reduced pollutants while doubling the GDP. That's right. Economic growth and environmental rules can exist side by side. We support retraining for workers who have lost jobs and real income over the past several decades. Worldwide, green energy production is poised to spawn a multi-trillion-dollar industry and create thousands of jobs. But U.S. workers will not benefit from the green economy if our leaders stubbornly cling to coal and climate denial.
Not
It is also a myth that EPA funds could be better spent by the states. Pollution does not stop at state boundaries. It requires consistent federal regulation, and the states alone don't have the technical capacity. For example, in 2014, the city of Toledo wondered why their water supply was turning green. They consulted EPA scientists who were able to identify a rare liver toxin. With all these myths, what are the real reasons why EPA and other science agencies are under attack? Today, corporate profiteers are in positions of power to dismantle environmental protections. The pursuit of profit leads corporations down pathways that might be quicker and cheaper in the short term at the expense of public health and safety. The very definition of greed. And today, the captains of industry rule. EPA Chief Scott Pruitt worked closely with Oklahoma gas and oil companies, such as Devon Energy. Their opposition to EPA methane rules were cut and pasted directly onto Oklahoma State letterhead. They want to hoodwink Americans into thinking unregulated energy will not pollute, and that climate change is not real. But in order to do so, they must attack real evidence to the contrary. Ignorance is dangerous and a threat to democracy itself. Because we scientists produce the facts that expose the lies currently being purveyed, the tip of the spear is pointed at us. Galileo, the father of the scientific method and survivor of the Inquisition, would probably agree that science is not political, but sometimes politicians come gunning for scientists. That's why scientists need unions, for a workplace free from fear of corporate influence that corrupts policy debates. It is time for scientists and informed citizens to decide our own priorities. Our lives and livelihood depend on it. We are marching to defend and expand our hard-won protections, and in solidarity with others who remain resolved and organized against these threats.
Another huge hand for Kathy. I want to thank a very special group today. Thank you to our federal scientists and engineers that are here, and moreover, the ones that can't be here. I want you to make a pact with me. Their science will never be silenced. In fact, we're going to tell them right now. You ready for a chant?
Yeah.
I'm going to yell science. You say not silent. Ready?
Yeah.
Science!
Not silence!
Science!
Not silence!
Science!
Not silence!
Oh my God, that is so satisfying. I encourage you to get, a few thousand people together and a really nice microphone set up and yell science as loud as you can. It's pretty phenomenal. Science only happens in the context of society, and that's what our next scientist works at the intersection of. Pushing the boundaries of what we know, facing uncertainty, and challenging us to be better. Please welcome UC Davis plant geneticist and author of Tomorrow's Table on the Future of Food, scientist Pam Ronald.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here today. Thank you all for showing up and marching for science. I'm a scientist.
who are chronically at food risk. I don't know about you, but I believe in the power of science. Science helps us feed hungry people around the world, and science has doubled the human lifespan in the last century. Science helps us understand the world around us. And though some people would ask us to believe differently, we know that science is not an ideology. Scientists pose hypotheses, design experiments, analyze data, and come to conclusions. Science is based on data, not on alternative facts. Science is not a buffet where people can pick and choose the parts they like and throw out the rest. Science is not a belief system. It's not a philosophy based on someone's opinion. Evidence matters. Science is not partisan. Both Republicans and Democrats need science so they can make informed policy decisions. And sadly, both Republicans and Democrats sometimes misuse science, often citing discredited research to support short-term political or financial goals, ignoring the scientific consensus. Right here in California, we can see that science is a huge part of our lives, of our well-being, and of our economy. Computer technologies developed here now employ millions of people in new industries and have helped to mobilize marches like this one. The biotechnology industry was also developed here. Millions of people worldwide are now helped with biotech medicines like human insulin, which treats diabetes, a disease affecting nearly 10% of the U.S. population. The great California agricultural industry relies on science. The wine, the fruits, the vegetables, and the nuts that we all love were all improved using the scientific method. Why is science thriving in California? Because we support our public institutions, our schools, and our universities. We welcome diversity. We are open to new ideas. We share information in an open and transparent manner. This is how it works in California, and this is how science succeeds globally. The economy thrives and democracy thrives when a nation has a robust scientific system. The impact of science is global. Humans everywhere share basic needs. Our air, our water, and our climate are interconnected. We cannot survive without each other and without science. We need to work across borders to protect these precious resources. So we've made many advances in science, it's true. But despite those advances, science is not necessarily trusted. People often reject it, even where the scientific consensus is overwhelming. Many people continue to believe, for instance, despite massive evidence to the contrary, that climate change does not exist. That childhood vaccines cause autism. sells better than scientific evidence. We must fight against fear-mongering by politicians, by special interests, and by people who put their own agenda ahead of the welfare of the people of our shared world. We are all afraid of something, but we cannot let fear rule us. When we understand more, we fear less. What are you afraid of?
Trump. Is this supposed to be
I'll
nonpartisan or
tell you
something?
what I'm afraid of. I am afraid of a post-truth world in which evidence doesn't matter if its story reinforces personal beliefs. This kind of thinking stands in the way of science, and it's a problem for all of us that are seeking new ways to fight diseases or helping to feed billions of people who share the globe with us, who are working to protect the environment and our beautiful planet. Curing illnesses, feeding the hungry, protecting the environment. These are the greatest challenges of our time. And when it comes to these challenges, we ignore scientific expertise at our peril. If we want to succeed in our efforts, if we want to make effective policy decisions, we need to challenge ourselves to go beyond what instinctively feels right and look at the evidence. We need to turn to science to find a path forward. There's a lot of opposition to scientific thinking these days. We have our work cut out for us, but we are smart, and we are strong, and we are determined. Let's celebrate scientific progress and use it. Science is our responsibility, science is our right, and science is our privilege. Thank you for doing everything to support science. Thank you.
All right, I got an important text. A friend of mine is running the LA March for Science, and he seemed to indicate that they're doing a little better than us. So we're going to send a little selfie in response. Can I have the selfie team come up? Come on, selfie team. All right, put every single sign up. Make it seem like the dimensions of this place is bigger than it is. Take that, LA. We have a special guest in town who just happened to be here and just sent me a text a couple days ago, and he's like, I'm speaking. It wasn't a question. It was awesome. He's a former Daily Show producer, worked at The Onion, but mostly he's an activist and author that demands us to be better. Please welcome Baratunde Thurston.
What up, Bay Area? Are we ready to make America smart again? I come to you from Brooklyn, New York by way of science. Aerospace engineering is incredible. I want to first just express appreciation for all of you for being here. You are beautiful, you are bold, and you are brilliant. These signs are amazing. I have seen some of the cleverest signs of my life. I want to give a shout out to what do we want? Evidence-based science. When do we want it? After peer review. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I I want to show some love for a very simple sign. Geology rocks. You guys are killing it in the pun game. This is amazing. This is amazing. And then my favorite of the day, but I know there's thousands more. Knowing stuff is good. Why do I even have to march for this? Very, very beautiful. There's a lot of people asking, how did we get to a place where Jared Kushner is our president? I think it's a great question. I think it's a great question. And the answer is always history, but I also think the answer is science. Show some love if you know who Isaac Newton is. Isaac Newton, for those who don't know, is the creator of CrossFit. And Isaac Newton tweeted out on Snapchat the other day, third law of physics, Newton's third law. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I think those same rules apply to our politics in this nation. To every brilliant, competent first black president, there is an idiot white supremacist president. It's just science, y'all. It's just physics. It's just CrossFit.
Nonpartisan.
So I am here because I had a mother who helped me be here. My mother was born in 1940, Washington, D.C., when nobody wanted to be black. Black people didn't even want to be black. White people hadn't gotten around to it yet. And she did not have a college degree. She raised my sister and me on her own. She was a domestic worker. She was a secretary, but she ultimately became a computer programmer for the federal government. She was Black Girls Code before there was a Black Girls Code, right? And as a child, I didn't know what a computer programmer did, but I discovered one day what that meant. See, I would get home alone in my job, do homework, don't watch TV. So of course, I did the opposite, but I would keep an eye out the window because I was smart. And as I saw my mother approach, I would turn off the TV, I'd go sit at the kitchen table, I'd start doing my homework. And my mother would walk in the house, and she'd walk over to the television, she'd put her hand on the television. Some of you also had my mother.
Do today's
And
TVs
she
do
would
that?
feel the heat generated by her lying son. And that's when I realized computer programmers are wizards sent from the future. To deny cartoons like DuckTales and Dennis the Menace to lonely children in the hood. See, my mother had a hypothesis that her son was lying to her, and then she tested it. And then, like an idiot, I offered a chance for her to repeat that experiment. Because she was a scientist. And the last thing I want to stress today is that we are here, in many cases, in opposition to a dark orange cloud we feel descending on our nation. But that's not the only reason to be here. Because regardless of what's going on in the halls of Congress or the halls of the White House, science itself has more work to do. Science alone doesn't fix things. And who makes science is important. I am here because my mother can help make some science. And in the Bay Area, the Yay area, we should constantly be questioning who's making the science and technology that defines our future. Who's benefiting from the jobs and economic opportunity that define the reality in which we will live. So yes to resistance in the true scientific sense, but also yes to inclusivity and creation in the full expansive sense. The last thing I want to say is to paraphrase the words of Niels Bohr. Can we get up for Niels Bohr? Hey, created hot yoga. Niels Bohr has a quote about what science ultimately is. And to paraphrase, he essentially says science is the gradual elimination of prejudice. Scientists question their assumptions. We look at the world and say, what else is there? And we are constantly chipping away at prejudice because we are not afraid to ask ourselves questions. So let us all continue to ask ourselves questions. Let's be scientific in our approach to expanding the promises of justice. And let's turn up this march. I'm Baratunde Thurston, March for Science. Thank you, Bay Area.
Wow. Hey, everyone. This is my dad. This man turns 80 this year, and he flew out just to march with me. In 1961, the University of Cincinnati took a risk on a kid from a small village in India. Took a risk by admitting him to a science program. They paid him a grand total of $115 a month. It's barely enough to eat. Nevertheless, he persisted. And that degree led to an amazing career in the private sector. I have to say, we didn't always have an easy life, but we had a happy one and a prosperous one. The whole reason I got involved in this march, the whole reason I got into science, the reason I could stand here on this stage is due to this man. He's the greatest scientist I've ever known because he was the one that was there for me every day. And I owe that to science for taking a chance on this immigrant and this immigrant family. Because we are a nation of immigrants, and science is stronger, and we are stronger when we continue to open our borders to new voices. And I will make you one guarantee. I will fight like hell to make sure that science keeps those doors open to immigrants for years and decades to come. Our next speaker is one of those voices. They were not comfortable being on stage today because they are an immigrant and a scientist. So we have a recorded message from an actress reading their words.
That knowledge to better improve lives and inform decisions. It is the fundamental nature of humans to seek to unravel and discover the truth of their lives, relationships, and surroundings. Every human interacts and experiments with the world to uncover these truths. Every human is a scientist by nature. As a physician and psychiatrist, I've studied science for almost 3 decades, through school, residency, and medical practice. It has served as an anchor point to which I've often returned and referenced time and time again, both in practicing my profession and living my personal life. Every single improvement in quality of life that we benefit from today has been aided by scientific inquiry and experiment. Shelter, food, clean water, and good health are all fundamentals of survival that have dramatically improved over the last couple of centuries, thanks solely to the efforts of people who are willing to look at the science and adapt it for the betterment of all. The human brain is the most complex structure known to man, and understanding mental health and brain disorders is one of the biggest challenges we face. Thanks to dedicated